Hello dear students. Today we are going to cover chapter number 5 of your book First Flight, and the name of the chapter is The 100 Dresses, written by L. Besor Esther. The chapter has two parts, and in this video we will be studying about part 1 of the chapter. Let's read about the author first. Eleanor Estes was born on May 9, 1906 in United States of America. She was an American children's author. She was born in West Haven, Connecticut as Eleanor Ruth Rosenfield. Originally, she was a librarian. Estes' writing career began following a case of tuberculosis. When she was bedridden due to tuberculosis, she began writing down some of her childhood memories, which would later turn into full-length children's books. Estes' book Ginger Pie won the Newbery Medal, and 3 of her other books, The Middle Moffat, Rufus M., and The 100 Dresses, were chosen as Newbery Honor Books. She also received the Certificate of Award for Outstanding Contribution to Children's Literature and was nominated for the Laura Ingalls Wilder Award. By the time of her death at age 82, Estes had written 19 books on children. And as you can read above, she died on July 15, 1988. After reading this chapter, you will be able to recall the important points of the story. You will be able to explain the theme and message of the chapter in your own language. You will be able to summarize the story in a correct sequence. You will be able to conclude after reading that appearances are deceptive and everybody should be treated with equal respect, irrespective of their name, color, or background. And also that bullying is not only humiliating but also very disheartening and discouraging for a child. Finally, you will be able to write the character sketch of the main characters of the story. Let's read about the characters of the story first. The main character, the protagonist, is Wenda Petronsky. She is a poor Polish girl. Polish means she belongs to Poland. She is a poor Polish girl whose parents have immigrated to America. She is a quiet, shy, well-behaved girl. Sometimes she twists her mouth into a crooked smile, into a twisted, curved smile. She lives in a locality named Boggins Height, where the poorest of the poor live. The second character of the chapter is Peggy. She is the most popular and pretty girl in the school, and she belongs to a financially sound family, and she is quite good at studies also, but she always teases Wenda. The next main character is Maddie. Maddie is a close friend of Peggy. She belongs to a poor family. She has short blonde hair and she is quite kind-hearted. Usually she wears others' clothes which are modified by her mother. And finally, we have one more character, Miss Mason, who is Wenda's class teacher, and she is quite helpful and supportive for the students. Now, this story, The 100 Dresses 1, is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Wenda Petronsky is a young Polish girl who goes to school with other American children in an American town. So these other children see Wenda as different in many ways. Can you guess how they treat her? Let's read and find out in the story. Wenda's unnoticed absence. It was Monday and Wenda was absent from the school. Even her classmates, Peggy and Madeline, Madeline is Maddie only, who often made fun of her, didn't notice her absence on Monday. Whenever Wenda came to the class, she always preferred to sit in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. Their classroom was room 13. She usually sat in the corner where the rough boys used to sit, the boys who performed badly in exams, who made noise by scuffling their feet. Scuffling means by, dragging their feet. Who brought mud with their shoes and laughed the loudest at anything funny. So she used to sit with those boys. But nobody knew the actual reason behind Venda's sitting there with those boys, as she was not noisy. She was not she was not disturbing like those boys, but on the contrary, she was a quiet and shy girl, and she never laughed loudly. Perhaps there can be one reason. She sat there because she came from a poor locality, Bogginsheight, and her feet were most of the time caked with mud. No one really bothered about Venda. She remained absent on Tuesday as well, and no one in the class, none of her classmates bothered to find out the reason why she was absent. Then students teased Venda. They used to tease her. Venda's classmates thought of her only when they came out of the class and waited to tease her. They found her name too lengthy and funny, as their own American names were very easy to say. She didn't have any friends in her class. Still, a lot of girls talked to her, gathered around her with the purpose of making fun of her, with the purpose of humiliating her. As you can see, I have quoted the lines from the book. The time when they thought about Venda was outside of school hours, at noon time, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. At that time they thought of Venda. They thought of teasing her. Then sometimes they waited for Venda to have fun with her. They asked her, especially Peggy, asked her how many dresses and pair of shoes she had. To which Venda always would reply that she had 100 dresses and 60 pair of shoes. Venda always, but on the contrary to her statement, she always wore a clean faded blue colored dress, always. It was a clean dress, but it was never ironed. But in reply to the girls, what she used to say was that she had 100 dresses and 60 pair of shoes. So her own statements were quite contradictory. That is why she was the subject of humiliation amongst girls. Then Peggy and Maddie were close friends. They were front benchers. They would often get good marks and waited for Venda, often, most of the times, waited for Venda to have fun with her. Peggy, she was a pretty girl, the most popular girl in the school. She had curly hair, and moreover she was soft-hearted. She protected small children from bullies and generally would weep bitterly when she saw an animal being treated cruelly. She was the one who started the game of humiliating Venda by asking questions about dresses and shoes. Actually, she hated lies. She didn't consider teasing Venda a cruel act. She knew that Venda was lying about her dresses and shoes. Actually, Peggy was not cruel. She just hated this thing, why Venda used to tell a lie about her dresses and shoes. Because everyone knew that she had only one dress to wear, so how could she have 100 dresses and 60 pair of shoes? So she hated that Venda used to lie. That is why she humiliated her. Otherwise, she was not a cruel girl. Then both Peggy and Maddie noticed Venda's absence on Wednesday. Finally, on Wednesday after Monday and Tuesday, as Venda had made them late to school because they were waiting for her that day to have some fun, to mock at her. Then if we talk about Maddie, she is a poor girl. But she was not as poor as Venda. Usually she wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes, somebody's used clothes, which were modified by her mother and given a new look by her. Maddie did not like Peggy's attitude towards Venda. She did not like Peggy insulting Venda. But in reality, she had no courage to ask Peggy to stop all this teasing. She feared, actually why she didn't have any courage, because she feared that she herself might not become a subject of their fun because of her poor condition. I have quoted the lines from the chapter. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda. She didn't feel sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started it in on her next. What would happen then? She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. So she might become a subject of their fun. So she feared this thing, and she had no courage to stop Peggy. Then she started writing a note to Peggy regarding teasing Wanda, like she wanted to stop her. But suddenly, while writing, she stopped at the thought of being ridiculed. Why? Because she usually wore one of Peggy's old dresses, which were modified by her mother. So finally, because of all these things, she decided to remain quiet and left it to Peggy to stop teasing Wanda. And as for Wanda, Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings and jungle green with a red sash. Wanda used to Wanda used to talk a lot about these two dresses to Maddie. So Maddie remembers that thing. Then comes the drawing contest. Suddenly, Maddie's thoughts got diverted to the upcoming drawing contest of the class. She began to wonder who was going to win the competition. So, in this competition, the girls were supposed to design dresses and the boys were supposed to design motorboats. Everybody, including Maddie, thought of Peggy to win, as she drew better than anyone else in the room. The teacher was to announce the results next day. So next day it was drizzling and Peggy and Maddie did not want to be late, so they did not wait for Wanda to tease her. As soon as they entered the classroom, they saw brilliant and lavish drawings all over on the walls of the classroom. They must be the drawings for the contest. So when the whole class had assembled, the class teacher, Miss Mason, announced the winners of the drawing contest. Now Jack Bagels was the winner amongst the boys and Wanda Petronsky was the winner amongst girls because she made 100 different dress designs. Everybody, especially the judges, were immensely impressed by her drawings and each of her drawing was capable of winning the contest individually. But unfortunately, Wanda was not there to hear the applause. She was not there to receive the award. So, this is how she proved her talent. This is how she proved that she had 100 dresses. She was not a useless girl. Everybody in the class clapped for Wanda in joy. They found that all the dresses she used to describe to the girls were there. The green, the blue, the red, all were there. The boys whistled with fingers in their mouth. And Peggy said that she had thought she could draw the same like Wanda. So this is how Wanda proved her worth through her talent. She proved it to everyone that she actually had 100 dresses. Let's understand the theme and message of the story. The first and foremost theme is appearances are deceptive. We should not judge a person on the basis of his or her appearances, outward appearance. Judging the people on the basis of their riches and possessions is wrong. In the chapter we see how the girls humiliate Wanda, how Peggy and Maddie humiliated Wanda on the basis of her appearance only, because she was a plain looking girl and she belonged to a poor family. Then the second one is discrimination faced by the immigrants. Wanda was also a Polish immigrant. Her parents shifted from Poland to America. So she also faced the discrimination because of her race. So the chapter gives us a message that everyone should be treated equally. And students should not indulge in insensitive actions like mocking and bullying at other students just because of their class or background. And finally, we should learn to accept each other wholeheartedly with all the differences. The title of the chapter, The 100 Dresses, is quite justified because the entire story revolves around Wanda, who is mocked by her classmates for wearing the same blue faded dress. And Wanda also claims to have 100 dresses all lined up in her closet at home. And finally, she gives her reply in the form of beautifully drawn 100 dresses. So the main subject of the story revolves around the 100 dresses only. So the title is quite appropriate. That was the end of the chapter. And here is some glossary for all of you to refer to. Some of the word meanings are already mentioned in the chapter, but some are not there. So after watching this video, what you people have to do is you have to read the chapter thoroughly and you have to read the word meanings. You have to write the word meanings on your books. Thank you and have a nice day.